Is this thing on? It is. All right, welcome back to Layup Lines, the college basketball best bets and preview podcast. I'm your host, DaRock, and we have another loaded week of conference play here in college basketball. We got a top 5 showdown here between Michigan and Nebraska. A lot of other good Big Ten and SEC games, some road tests for teams here in the Big 12. So a lot of good games this week. So make sure to drop your comments down below which games you guys will be watching and your picks. I'm going to be shouting out some people who comment correct picks on here while you're down there. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're a big college basketball fan, you're going to have this video coming out, twice a week here, as well as multiple recaps and other stuff like that. So a lot of college basketball content here coming on the channel, and let's get into it. All right, so we start with that aforementioned top 5 contest here on Tuesday. The 5th-ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers, 20-0 on the year, still undefeated. The number 3 Michigan Wolverines. So Michigan led by Axel Lendenberg with 14 points per game and 7 rebounds. And then Elliot Cadeau, their leader in assists, with 5 assists per game. On the Nebraska side, Price Sanford, their leading scorer, with 17 points per game. Berkey Buckentussel, their leading rebounder, with 6. And then Sam Hoiberg, their leading assist man, with 4. So Nebraska, nice win over the weekend, coming from behind, trailed in the first half, but ended up beating Minnesota 76-57 on the road. Michigan takes down their rivals Ohio State at home, 74-62. Like I said, similar to that Nebraska game. Close game in the first half. Michigan pulls away in the second half. So looking here, Michigan, 3rd best efficiency offensively in the country. However, Nebraska, the 8th best defensive efficiency. On the Nebraska side, they're the 22nd most efficient offense, but Michigan's the 3rd most efficient defense. Shooting-wise, Michigan's the number 1 shooting percentage team here in the country, 52, nearly 53% from the field, to Nebraska's 49%. And Michigan's also holding teams to only shooting 36% here from the field. Both these teams shooting 37% from 3. Nebraska a little bit higher, clip 33.67%. So both teams that can score. But the crazy thing in this one, Michigan's a double-digit favorite. This is a ranked, top 5 ranked matchup here, and Michigan is favored by double digits. And that really shows you something. As good as Nebraska has been this year, they found a way to come from behind and win close games, even, blow teams out here. And I kind of think that spread's a little high, where I think they'll cover that spread, but I do think Michigan ends up winning this game. I just don't know if Nebraska's going to have a stop for Lendenberg, Morez Johnson, Ade Mara, guys that have also been playing really well for the Wolverines lately. So give me Michigan to take this one. Then moving on in the Big Ten on Tuesday, we have the 7th-ranked Purdue, or 12th-ranked Purdue Boilermakers, 17-3 on the year, heading to the 13-7 Indiana Hoosiers. This one's at 9 Eastern time on Peacock. So Purdue, led by Braden Smith, scoring 15 points per game with 9 assists, and then Trey Kaufman-Renn, their leading rebounder, with 8 per game. On the Indiana side, Lamar Wilkerson, their leading scorer, 19 points per game. Then Tucker DeVries, leading rebounder, with 5, and Connor Enright, leading assist man, with 4. So Purdue coming off 2 straight losses here at UCLA last Tuesday, and then at home against Illinois here during the week. Indiana, nice win Friday night at Rutgers, kind of cruised in that one. But now, much tougher test here in their rivals, Purdue. So efficiency-wise, Purdue, the 2nd most efficient offense in the country to Indiana's 15th. Field goal shooting, Purdue's 2nd best shooting team in the country, 52%, to Indiana's 48%. From beyond the arc, Purdue 12th best 3-point shooting team in the country, 39%, to Indiana's 36%. So this is one where Indiana here, they're the home team. It's not easy to win in Assembly Hall, especially, a game like this where Purdue, the rivalry, the old Oaken bucket here. So, the Hoosier crowd's going to be ready for this one, coming off that football national title last week. They're not going to forget about basketball. Indiana still is a basketball school. They're going to demand some success here on the court. And, they finally get a win after coming off 4 straight losses in conference play. I would usually, kind of pick them here, maybe think they're turning the corner, but Purdue coming off 2 straight losses, this is one they must have. They need it. They can't keep this slide going here. So for that reason, I'm going to go with the Boilermakers to get the win here in Assembly Hall. Then moving on to the Big East here on Tuesday, the Providence Friars, 9-11 on the year, head to the 21st ranked 19-1 UConn Huskies. This one's at 7:30 Eastern Time on TNT on Tuesday. So for UConn solo ball, their leading scorer with 14 points per game. Terrace Reed, leading rebounder with 8. And Silas Demery, the leading assist man, with 6. On the Providence side, Jason Edwards, their leading scorer, with 17 points per game and then 3 assists. And then Osu Urowunse, their leading rebounder, with nearly 8 rebounds per game. So UConn, coming off an OT win against Villanova. They've won 5 straight games, but it's their second, overtime win in those last 5 games. The other overtime win being a come-from-behind 103-98 win at Providence. So they've already won the first meeting between these two teams here. Providence was up big in the first half, but ends up blowing a game to Georgetown to their old coach Ed Cooley over the weekend, plus then 2 losses last week, losing at Marquette, who's the bottom of the Big East here. So Providence, things are not going great for them right now. Efficiency-wise, UConn, the 38th most efficient offense in the country, but Providence actually 36th. However, UConn, the 9th most efficient defense. Looking shooting percentage-wise, UConn shooting 49% from the field to Providence's 48%. Providence, a better three-point shooting team, 36% to UConn's 35%. But like I mentioned, Providence is just not playing a great brand of basketball right now. Only 1 win in their last 5 games at home against Creighton. And UConn is, as tough as Providence played them the first time, the dunk there in Providence is a very tough place to play. It was kind of a house of horrors for Dan Hurley a little bit here. But now, they're able to overcome that, get the win. And like I said, they've just keep rattling off these wins, so I don't think that changes here. Give me UConn to take this one. Then moving on to the SEC here on Tuesday, we have the Kentucky Wildcats, 14-6 on the year, heading to the 17-3, 18th ranked Vanderbilt Commodores. This one's at 9 Eastern Time on ESPN on Tuesday. So for Vanderbilt, Tyler Tanner, the leading scorer, with 17 points per game and then 5 assists. And then McLaughlin is Vanderbilt's leading rebounder with 6 rebounds per game. On the Kentucky side, Otega Owe, their leading scorer, 16 points per game. Malachi Moreno, leading rebounder, with 6. And then Denzel Aberdeen, the leading assist man, with 3. So both these teams in the win column over the weekend against the Mississippi schools. Kentucky, tight game, but ended up pulling away, winning 72-63 against Ole Miss. Vanderbilt, after losing 3 straight games, wins 88-56 at Mississippi State. So looking here, Kentucky, the 51st most efficient team in the country offensively, but Vanderbilt, 11th best efficiency, as well as 21st defensive. Kentucky, 20th best defense. So 2 good defenses here in this one. Shooting-wise, Kentucky shooting 48% from the field. However, Vanderbilt shooting 50%, which is 15th best in the country. 3-point shooting, Vanderbilt slightly better, 38% to Kentucky's 35%. So, like I mentioned, Vanderbilt coming off 3 straight losses, finally gets back in the win column. We're kind of like the fun story here in the SEC in college basketball, but kind of coming back down to earth. Kentucky, on the other hand, after people were really high on them, they were finally playing really well, won 5 straight games, but Vanderbilt is kind of a tough place to play, especially when the team is rolling like this. And like I said, I just think they are the better offense. I kind of like their guards a little bit more than Kentucky's guards in Tanner, Duke Miles, and Tyler Nickel as well. So for that reason, I am going to go with the Commodores to get the win here at home. So then sticking in the SEC, but moving to Wednesday, we have the Tennessee Volunteers, 13-6 on the year, head to the 16-4 Georgia Bulldogs. This one's at 7 Eastern Time on the SEC Network on Wednesday. So for Georgia, Jamal Wilkinson, their leader, 17 points per game. Cyril, their leading rebounder, with 6. And then Miller, their leading assist man, with 3. For Tennessee, Jacoby Gillespie, the leading scorer, with 18 points per game and then 5 assists as well. And then Jaden Carey, leading rebounder, with 6 rebounds. So these teams kind of opposite sides of the spectrum here. Tennessee, with a nice road win at Alabama, despite Charles Bediako playing for Alabama. Doesn't matter. Tennessee gets the win anyways. Georgia, on the other hand, goes to Texas, which has been a tough place to play in the SEC this year, and they lose by 20. So not great looks for the Bulldogs there. So Tennessee, 32nd best offensive efficiency in the country to Georgia's 39th. And then Tennessee also the 19th most efficient defense. Shooting-wise here, Tennessee shooting 50% from the field, 12th best in the country to Georgia's 73. And then 34th best three-point shooting team in the country, Tennessee, shooting 37% to Georgia's 31%. So Georgia here, though, their one maybe advantage in this game, they are 7th in the country in fast break points percentage. Getting fast break points on 18 of 100 possessions on average here. So that's where they're going to kind of like the advantage in this game. They're sixth in pace in the country. So Georgia's going to want to play really fast, but I think Tennessee's going to do a good job. Just how good they are defensively, how good their guards are as well. I think Tennessee can really do a good job slowing this game down, making it a slower game, not a fast-paced game, and going on the road and get a close win here. So I like Tennessee to get the win. Then moving on in the SEC, we have Texas heading to Auburn. Texas 12-8 on the year, Auburn 13-7. This one's at 7 Eastern on ESPN2 on Wednesday. So for Auburn, Keyshawn Hall, they're leading points and rebounds with 20 points per game, 7 rebounds, and then Todd Pettiford leading assists with 3. For Texas, Dalen Swain leads every category, 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. So both these teams coming off big wins here during the weekend. Texas, like I just mentioned, beating Georgia by 20 at home, and then Auburn going into the swamp, taking down Florida, getting revenge for that Final Four loss a year ago with a 76-67 win over the Gators. So looking here, Auburn 12th most efficient offense in the country, but Texas is the 10th. These two teams are also really good at drawing free throw attempts. Auburn with the most free throw attempts per 100 possessions, and then Texas 8th in the country in that same metric. Shooting-wise here, Texas shoots 49, nearly 50% from the field, 20th best in the country. Auburn shoots 48, nearly 49%, which is 3rd best in the country. Texas the better three-point shooting team, 35% to Auburn's 32. So this one, Auburn's actually projected to win this one by 5 here, according to Haslametrics. And with this one being in the Plains, being at Auburn, I could see that. Texas has struggled a little bit here on the road, losing at Kentucky. However, they did win at Alabama, so they're looking to get the win here at both of the Alabama schools. But Auburn, 3 straight wins here. They're playing some good basketball. Keyshawn Hall's been playing really well. He had 24 in that win against Florida. So unless Texas can take him away, which defensively I just don't think they can, I think he can have a big game in this one and get the Tigers the win. So give me Auburn. Then moving back to the Big Ten here on Wednesday, we have the 15-5 USC Trojans head to the 14-5 Iowa Hawkeyes. Iowa led by Bennett Sturtz scoring 18 points per game with 5 assists, and then Manuanu, their leading rebounder, with 4. On the USC side, Chad Baker-Mazara, 19 points per game and 3 assists, and then Jacob Kofi, their leading rebounder, with 7. So both these teams coming off wins over the weekend. USC heading to Wisconsin, pulls out a 73-71 win on Sunday. That was during the week, so Iowa was off this weekend. Their last game against Rutgers, a 68-62 win, and then one at Indiana the previous Saturday before that. So looking here, efficiency-wise, Iowa 29th most efficient offense in the country, and then 11th most efficient defense, to then USC's 76th most efficient offense and 46th most efficient defense. Shooting, Iowa the 8th best shooting team here in the country, 51% from the field to USC's 47%. And then Iowa shooting 38% from 3 to USC's 34%. So just as you're seeing here, the better shooting team, better offensive team, just kind of all around here is this Iowa Hawkeyes team. Bennett Sturtz, he's their leader. Is capable of just kind of going off, catching fire, having a lot of big games, and I can see this really being one of those. I don't know if USC really has the guards to kind of keep up with him, so that's going to play a big role in this one. Is can USC take Sturtz away? Can they slow the game down? Because if it gets to a fast pace, just kind of go game, that's going to be all Iowa really plays into their hand. As you're seeing here, they're projected to win by 10 points on Haslametrics. I don't know if they're going to win by that much, but I do like Iowa to get the win here at home. Big East game here that I'm featuring on Wednesday. We have the Xavier Musketeers, 11-9 on the year, head to the 14-6 Seton Hall Pirates. Seton Hall, led by A.J. Stant-McRae, scoring 11 points per game. Payne, their leading rebounder, with 7. Then Clark, leading assist man, with 4. On the Xavier side, Trey Carroll, leading scorer, with 18. And then Philip Borovikinen, their leading rebounder and assist man, with 8 rebounds, 4 assists. So both these teams, not a great stretch of basketball lately, and that's kind of why this is an important game, for these two teams that are looking here to be bubble teams in the Big East, see if they can maybe sneak their way into the tournament. Both really need this win. Seton Hall 4 straight losses after being the second best team in the Big East to start. They even cracked the rankings, cracked the top 25, but now 4 straight losses to at DePaul and at St. John's last week. Not great there. Xavier also coming off 2 losses. Lost at home to St. John's in the Patino Bowl over the weekend, and then lost in a buzzer beater at Creighton during the week. So both these teams much in need of a win here. Looking here at the splits, Seton Hall shoots 43% from the field. Xavier shoots 45%. 3-point wise, Xavier 37% to Seton Hall's 31%. So looking here, Xavier likes to play a really fast-paced game to Seton Hall, a little bit slower, and that's where I think Xavier really does have the ability in this game to speed this one up, especially with Trey Carroll. He's just so good. Like I said, went for, I want to say it was close to 30 points in that loss to Creighton. He's been playing really well for them. I think he's the best player in the floor in this one, and I think because of that, he ends up carrying Xavier to this win here on the road. So give me the Musketeers to win at Seton Hall. Then moving to the Big 12, we have the 10th ranked Houston Cougars, 17-2 on the year, heading to the 13-7 TCU Horned Frogs. This one's at 9 Eastern time on ESPNU on Wednesday. So Houston led by Kingston Fleming, scoring 17 points per game with 5 assists. And then Chris Sinak, their leading rebounder, with 7. On the TCU side, David Punch, their leading scorer and rebounder, with 14 points, 7 rebounds. And then Harding, their leading assist man, with 6. So Houston suffered their second loss of the year out on the weekend, losing at Texas Tech. It was a really close one, really fun game, back and forth, could have very easily gone either way. TCU, 2 straight wins for them, winning at home against Oklahoma State during the week, and then heading to Baylor with a nice 97-90 win there over the weekend. So looking here at the efficiency-wise, Houston 24th most efficient offense, and then 5th most efficient defense to TCU's 96th efficiency in offense and 36th in defense. Houston shooting 45% from the field, but TCU actually the better shooting team, 47% from the field. However, Houston holding their opponents shoot just 38% from the field. Houston shoots 36% from 3 to TCU's 35%. So pretty similar there shooting-wise. TCU actually the little bit better shooting team here, but just the big difference in this one is the defense of Houston and just their ability to kind of slow games down, make it, a bit more of a battle, where TCU you're seeing here, when they're getting wins, they're scoring 90-plus points. Granted, only scored 68 against Oklahoma State, so they can, play a little bit both ways, but Houston's just so good defensively, plus then you throw in their scores, how well Kingston Fleming's been playing, went for 40 in that loss during the week, loss at Texas Tech during the weekend, plus then, you throw in Sharp and Uzan as well. Just so many different guys on this Houston team that despite, going on the road here, I just don't think TCU has enough to hang with them. So give me the Cougars to take that one. Then the mid-major game here on Wednesday that I'm going to feature, the Colorado State Rams, 12-8 on the year, head to the 14-5 San Diego State Aztecs. This one's at 10:30 Eastern time on Fox Sports 1. So Reese Dixon Waters, leader for San Diego State, scoring 11 points per game. Heidi, their leading rebounder, with 5 rebounds, and then Miles Bird, leading assist man, with nearly 3 assists. On the Colorado State side, Bryce Reckensteiner with scoring 12 points per game. Booth, their leading rebounder, with 6, and then Munez, their leading assist man, with 4. So San Diego State back in the win column after getting upset by Grand Canyon during the week. They take down UNLV 81-71 at UNLV. Colorado State lost 3 of their last 4, losing at home against Utah State 65-61 during the week. Granted, Utah State, one of the better teams here in the Mountain West, if not the best team. So shooting-wise, San Diego State shoots 47% from the field, 56th best in the country. Colorado State shoots 49% from the field, 31st, so slightly better shooting team Colorado State, but San Diego State holding their opponents only 39%. Colorado State, though, second best three-point shooting team in the country, 41% to San Diego State's 38%, which is 25th best. So two teams that, really can fill it up here from beyond the arc. Pace-wise, San Diego State definitely likes to play a lot quicker, and with this one being in their gym, plus just how good guys like Reese Dixon Waters and Miles Bird have been guard-wise for the Aztecs, I really think they're going to be able to speed this one up, speed Colorado State up. Maybe, with that faster pace, Colorado State's not able to shoot as well. As you're seeing here, San Diego State projected to win by 8. I would say I like that around as the margin of victory in this one, so give me the Aztecs. Then moving on quickly here to Thursday, just 2 games I'm going to feature. The Power Conference game. We have the 12-8 Colorado Buffaloes heading to the 8th-ranked 18-2 Iowa State Cyclones. This one's at 7 Eastern Time on Fox Sports 1. So Milan Momcilovic, leader for Iowa State, averaging 18 per game. Joshua Jefferson, leading rebounder with 7, nearly 8 rebounds. And then Taman Lipsey, leading assist man with 5. For Colorado, Isaiah Johnson, their leading scorer, with 16. Dak, their leading rebounder, with 7. And then Hargress, their leading assist man, with 4. So Iowa State, after losing 2 games to Cincinnati and Kansas 2 weeks ago, they bounced back, 2 wins last week, destroying UCF by 30, and then a solid win at Oklahoma State during the week. Colorado lost 5 straight games. They're 2-5 here in the Big 12 now. Not playing great. Iowa State, 19th most efficient offense here in the country, and then 6th most efficient defense. They shoot 50% from the field and 40% from 3, which is best for 18th and 10th respectively in the country, whereas Colorado State shooting 47% from the field and 36% from 3. This is one, I could see this one very much being like that UCF game. Like Iowa State is going to win by double digits. They're projected to win here by 20. I like that. I think they might even win by more than that. Kind of slow day here for power conference games on Thursday, so that's why I chose this one, but give me the Cyclones to win it. And then the final game I'm going to feature here, the mid-major game on Thursday. The FAU Owls, 14-7 on the year, head to the 9-10 Memphis Tigers. This one's at 8 Eastern Time on ESPN2. So Doug McDaniel, leader for Memphis with 13 points per game and 4.8 assists. And then Bradshaw, leading rebounder with 4. Devin Vanterpool, leading scorer and rebounder for FAU with 16. And then 6 rebounds. Keon Carl, leading assist man with 3. So FAU, this second straight game of theirs that I'm featuring, they lost last Thursday at USF when I picked them to win. But they're facing a Memphis team that's all struggling a little bit. 2 straight losses here for Memphis at Tulsa and at Wichita State. Those are 2 of the top teams here in the American. They also lost the first meeting against FAU, 89-78 in Boca Raton back on January 11. So looking here, efficiency-wise, Florida Atlantic, 107th in offensive efficiency. Memphis, 213th but 59th in defensive efficiency. Shooting-wise, Memphis shoots 44% from the field to Florida Atlantic's 47%. And then from beyond the arc, both these teams shooting 34%. So really neither team like a great shooting team. Definitely defense is the advantage in this one. And that's where, maybe Memphis can have the advantage here because they like to play a slower pace. So, make this more of a slow, methodical, defensive game, whereas FAU, they like to kind of get out in transition, see if they can maybe, get some second chance points in the paint. I'm sorry, not second chance, fast break points in the paint, stuff like that. So if Memphis can take that away, I think then they could get the win. But I don't know, just like you're seeing here, Memphis 9-10, they're struggling with, a lot of these other top teams here in the American. And for that reason, they are projected to get the win here on Haslametrics, but I actually am going to go with FAU to get the win in this one. So then just moving on here, looking at games for the rest of the week. On Tuesday, like I mentioned, those Nebraska and Michigan games are definitely the top games here in the Big Ten. But Rutgers hosts Michigan State. Virginia, coming off a loss to North Carolina, has to head to Notre Dame. Arkansas with a tough road game at Oklahoma as well. Missouri, Alabama could be a fun SEC one. New Mexico, UNLV, good one there in the Mountain West. Miami, Ohio, on TV at 9 Eastern on ESPNU against UMass, who's been playing some good ball as of late. Plus, a couple decent A-10 contests. Rhode Island, Dayton. George Washington at St. Louis, and then St. Joe's, Loyola Chicago, projected to be a close one there on Tuesday. Moving on here to Wednesday, bigger slate for sure. Florida has to head to South Carolina. Butler, St. John's in a Big East clash. Minnesota, Wisconsin, round 2. That one was really fun the first time with Wisconsin winning on a buzzer beater. San Francisco and Santa Clara, 2 of the top teams in the WCC, going at it. We got a late night one with UCLA and Oregon in the Big Ten. Former Pac-12 rivals now clashing here again in the Big Ten. North Texas and Tulsa, a decent American game as well. Baylor, Cincinnati in the Big 12. Sam Houston and Missouri State's going to be a really good CUSA contest. 2 of the teams there kind of behind Liberty, battling for the CUSA title here. And that's kind of it for Thursday. A lot of mid-major games here on Wednesday. And then moving on to Thursday, like I mentioned, pretty light power conference late night. Washington heading to Illinois, Colorado at Iowa State, Penn State at Northwestern. Memphis, FAU is a good one like I just talked about. And then Liberty at Middle Tennessee State, another really good Conference USA clash. 2 of the top teams there in the conference. Liberty leading the league right there. So these other teams kind of need to catch up here, get some wins. And then Hawaii, UC Irvine, 11 Eastern on ESPNU late night. But going to be a really good Big West game there. Top 2 teams in the Big West. But that's going to wrap it up. Thank you guys once again so much for watching. Like I said at the beginning of it, make sure to comment your picks. I'm going to be shouting some people out here. Each episode, if you comment picks, likely we haven't gotten a whole lot of comments lately, so would really appreciate you guys letting me know, games you're watching, because, that could help me too if I know what teams you guys are a fan of and can feature those teams a little bit more. I think we're going to be talking some A10, have an A10 guest on here on Friday, so that should be an exciting one. So if you're excited for that, make sure to subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, so you never miss a video. While you're down there, like I said, make sure to like, comment the video, check out all my other socials so you know my picks, and are up to date on all my content. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.